Okay, joining us exclusively on Phoenix TV today is Phoenix forward number 27, Luke Flughum. Luke, welcome to Phoenix TV.
Thanks for having me.
Luke, one of the things I think that a lot of fans have picked up on this year is that you played a game very much with a smile on your face. Irrespective of how the game's going, you do always seem to have a smile when you're playing. You just sheer love of the game?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's something I'm fortunate enough to be able to do and have a good time doing it. I mean, when I need to get serious and need to buckle down and focus, I'm always there, but I do enjoy the game, and it's good to hang out with the guys, and it's something I always enjoy.
You've been playing mostly on a line this year with Tony Hand and David Beauregard, and obviously you've never played with those two guys before. How easy has it been to form a partnership or a relationship with two new guys?
It's been good. I mean, it's tough coming in and not knowing who you're going to play with or how you're going to gel, and you know, we've seemed to gel pretty well. I think we kind of struggled at first getting used to like how they played and stuff like that, but I think a couple weeks in there, 4 or 5 games in, I think we were gelling well, and we've seemed to be successful since.
And you mentioned there about the feeling in the room and getting to know a whole new bunch of guys, and the room this year for the Manchester Phoenix does seem to be a very tight unit.
I think so, and that's definitely what you need to have a successful team in any league, and I think so far everyone's got along pretty well. Hasn't been any problems, no heads button or anything like that, and that's definitely a very important thing.
Now, one of the things a lot of people don't know is you drew the short straw in the accommodation stakes, and you have to live with Brett Connolly. Give us an insight of what it's like to live with the big guy.
Yeah, it can be difficult at times. You know, he's pretty. He can talk too much in the morning. I'm pretty quiet in the mornings, and I just like my peace. But you know, he just runs his mouth off and never stops talking. And same right before bed. But other than that, he's a great guy. He's a big teddy bear when it comes down to it, and I'm glad he's my roommate.
I expect you're quite glad he's a teammate as well.
Oh yeah, he's great as a teammate. You know, I think he'll defend the teammates and take care of the guys on the ice, make sure no bad, funny business is going on.
Now, looking back earlier in your career, Luke, you weren't drafted into the NHL, but you did attend NHL training camps, didn't you?
Yeah, I was signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs after my last year of collegiate hockey, and I went and played in their AHL team. I signed during the NHL lockout, so at that time it was tough. But I ended up going to the AHL team, played a couple games there, and then the following season ended up playing with their AHL team as well as their ECHL team. I was up and down.
How disappointing was it as a youngster, you know, obviously wanting to carve out a career in hockey, not to get drafted?
It was tough, but, you know, there's always chance, you know, talking with friends of mine that weren't drafted or guys that run into through hockey that, you know, that as long as you're successful in college and you put your name out there and you prove that you can play the game, you can end up being in the NHL. There's a lot of undrafted guys that are in the NHL, but, you know, it's maybe a disappointment. I don't necessarily have the size that the NHL usually drafts. They usually draft about 6'1" or more, and I'm 6 foot, so, and I guess I didn't have the talent to knock that away to get noticed on the draft. But I think I did well for myself, and I was pretty happy with what happened.
Now, you're originally from Colorado, so do we take it that your preferred allegiance in the NHL is the Avalanche?
Definitely. Growing up, we didn't have a team until I was about 15, I think it was. But growing up, I liked the Flyers. For some reason, my brother, I think he brainwashed me a bit. But once the Avalanche came, definitely I was an Avalanche fan, and I'll stay true to them. They're struggling this year, but we'll see if they can turn around.
And, of course, there's a huge rivalry in the NHL between Colorado and Detroit, and we've got a couple of Detroit boys in the room, and that must be a bit strange sometimes because one of those is an Avalanche fan as well, Alex Dunn.
Yeah, that didn't really make too much sense to me, finding a Detroit kid that's an Avalanche fan, but I guess that's how it works sometimes. Back then when, you know, the Detroit Red Wings and the Avalanche were winning Stanley Cups and stuff like that, and there was some really a lot of cheap hockey going on in those playoff series. They were great to watch and really fun experience to see on TV and live a couple times.
Now, going way back even earlier in your career, in junior, you were the Waterloo Blackhawks, and they recently got in touch with you, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. They wanted to know what I was doing, and they like to, you know, follow the progress of their ex players, and that shows that they care, and it shows that, you know, like, hockey's important to them, and it's important to me, and it's important to their fans all around them. So Yeah, that was definitely an honor. I actually need them to email me again because I accidentally deleted it.
Well, we'll see what we can do about contacting the Blackhawks for you. But now coming back to this season and your own form, are you happy with your own form so far?
I think so. At first, it was a little different getting used to the style of the league, coming from a North American style to not say an English style, but just a different style of game. It took me a couple games, but I think now I've kind of found my spot, and I'm pretty comfortable. I had a little setback a couple weeks ago with an injury, but hoping to get through that pretty quick here and get right back to scoring goals and winning games.
Obviously, the Phoenix had a bit of a disappointing weekend last weekend against Sheffield, and only one game this weekend. How important is it that we get off to a good start? Because obviously Belfast played last night, and so they will be, if you like, a little bit more in tune.
Yeah, I think so. It's really important for us. It was a tough weekend, not having our goaltender and our coach, but sometimes you got to battle through it. We didn't get the bounces, but it's really important only having one game this weekend to make sure we leave nothing out there. Everyone's got to just give 100% and really make sure we do the little things that keep us out of trouble. And, I remember last time we played Belfast, we had the lead actually with like a minute to go or whatever, and we ended up giving 2 goals in the last minute, and they had the lead going in the second. So we got to make sure we eliminate mistakes like that and stay focused, and I really like our chances to win this game.
You mentioned the focus there, and it is a key element. It's a 60-minute game, and with the stopping clock, you just can't afford to turn off at any time.
Exactly. It's happened to us a couple times this year. We shut it down for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and that 2 or 3 minutes ended up costing us the game. We may have outplayed them for 50 minutes or whatever, but those 10 minutes that you don't concentrate or your lack of focus isn't there, then it could cost you the game, and we've seen it happen to us a couple times.
And at the end of the season, those little couple of minutes here and there, those could be the difference between a team winning a championship or being very, very close to it.
Most definitely. Just like I said earlier, those things add up, and if you can eliminate the most mistakes as possible. Hockey is a game of mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes out there. They happen, but if you can eliminate the ones that happen in dangerous areas, then we're going to be successful. And I think if we can limit those as much as possible, come down to the end of the season, we're going to be one of the better teams, and I really think we will be in the top 4 for sure. And there's going to be teams that don't want to play us.
I guess as well, when we get towards the end of the season, the playoffs is the big thing in North American sports. Over here in the UK, it's a much shorter playoff series, and focus will become even more important at that stage of the season.
Yeah, it is a lot different, but it's still important. And yeah, you don't have as much time, so to speak. Back home it's a 7-game series, first team to win 4, so you can maybe not play so good every game, but here it's important. It's short, and it has to be done. So we got to make sure going into the playoffs and at the end of the season we're at our highest performance level, and if we can accomplish that, I think we're going to do really well this season.
Are you the sort of player that sets yourself personal goals for the season?
Yeah. Nothing outrageous, but something I try and set myself game by game, more to speak. I just try and be an impact player out there every game, to where I do something that helps my team, and if I can accomplish that game, usually that leads to success throughout the whole season. So.
And accomplishing your own little goals and a bit of success for the team helps keep the smile on the face.
Yeah, definitely. And just keeping the attitude positive in the locker room, I think, is important. And anytime you start getting guys arguing with each other or about things like that, that's not something you want to see in the locker room. So I guess I try and keep it lighthearted in the locker room and keep a good attitude.
Well, touch wood, so far this season it has been extremely good in the Phoenix locker room, and with guys like yourself putting a smile on your own face, hopefully that'll rub off on everyone else. Luke Flughum, many thanks for joining us on Phoenix TV.
Thanks, Andy.